Hi, my name is Renaud Pavlak. I am the creator of the J Suite project and the founder of Cinchio. In this demo, I am going to show you how to migrate a Java applet to a true HTML5 application. I will be using the J Suite transpiler, which is a powerful tool to write your code in Java and translate it to TypeScript and JavaScript. First, let's take a small applet example, which is a calculator. I have found this applet on the web. It is of course a quite simple example, but it uses AWT components and events, which are the basis of all Java UIs when developing applets or even desktop applications. Now I will build the applet and run it with Firefox. Chrome does not support applets anymore, and Oracle announced that applets will be deprecated in Java 1.9. That's a pretty good reason to migrate your applets to web applications. Now, what I will do is that I will compile this applet for the web thanks to J Suite. To do this, I need a pom.xml that declares the core J Suite libraries, but also the J4TS library, which is basically a J Suite implementation of the core JRE APIs. Then, I can compile my applets by using the generate source Maven target, or under Eclipse, I can simply activate the J Suite plugin. When J Suite has finished compiling, what I get is the actual JavaScript code. I need to include that code in my HTML page like any other web program. Here, I include the generated code of my applet as well as the J4TS bundle. Now I can just open it with Chrome. As you can see, just compiling the exact same applet with J Suite makes it available on a browser. I can inspect this program like any other regular web program. There is a regular HTML document with regular HTML buttons, and all the events are handled with regular JavaScript. So, in order to migrate my applications to HTML5, all I need to do is to provide a JavaScript implementation of the libraries being used. To do so, I don't need to leave Java because I can just implement it in J Suite like J4TS does. Here, for the demo, I implemented a tiny part of the Applet API, which is the one used by the calculator program. Let's now see how to extend the Java support for other existing applications that you would want to migrate. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a blue color to the equals button of the calculator. To do so, I need to call the AWT setBackground function on the button. As you can see, when I'm calling this function, J Suite immediately reports a problem. That's because my button implementation does not support this function yet. To support this function, I go to the J4TS project and I add the set background function to the button and implement it using the JavaScript APIs from Java as provided by G Suite. Then I will just redeploy the J4TS artifact. This is done. Now I refresh my Applet project. As you can see, the compilation error disappears because the set background function is now supported. If I refresh the page, I can see that my set background implementation works in the browser. Where this migration technique stands out is that you generate actual JavaScript code. Your Java program becomes a real JavaScript program. It is not an emulated Java program running on the top of a VM implemented in a browser. No VM means no overhead, but it also means direct access to JavaScript APIs from your program. This opens a lot of perspectives. For example, at this point, you may want to drop Java and use the generated TypeScript code as your new source base. But you can also choose to remain in Java and take advantage of all the JavaScript APIs available thanks to G Suite. I will now show you how to modernize your existing Java application by taking advantage of the web environment. One really cool thing when building web applications compared to old-fashioned Java applications is that you can separate the presentation from the logic in your HTML views. In order to modernize your applets, the first thing to be done is to extract the HTML view from it. I can just copy-paste the DOM into my HTML file. As you can see, each component in my view has an ID. Also, in my AWT JavaScript implementation, I have decided to add a bind method in order to bind a component to an existing DOM element from its ID. I will access this bind function reflectively with G Suite API. All I need to do then is just to replace the add calls by bind invocations, so that my program now uses the HTML elements in the view rather than creating them dynamically. I can compile and execute my new program and check that it behaves exactly the same. Although it behaves the same, the structure behind it is really different, and I can now change the layouts in my HTML file. For instance, I can extract the field and put it at the top of the table. So I can now really modernize this application to conform to web standards. For example, I can modify the view to use a nicer bootstrap layout. Now my calculator is responsive and can even be embedded in the web view of a hybrid mobile app. Using this technology, we are currently building a really powerful tool for migrating Java applications to HTML5. Because we are doing more than just emulation, our technology not only allows for migrating, but also for bridging and modernizing Java applications. On contrary to VM-based solutions, there is no performance overhead to our solution compared to pure JavaScript applications. Last but not least, what has been shown here can be applied to any Java API and can help migrating with minimum effort legacy Java applications such as Swing applications, Java Web Start applications, and SWT applications. We can also apply this technique to JSP applications and use it to run Android applications on other devices such as iOS devices. We are currently looking for partners to develop this new tool, so contact us to get more information and see how we can work together. Thank you for listening.